Hey everyone, James Lynch here doing a quick reaction video to the news that UFC Abu Dhabi on July 26th does have a co-main event. It's going to be Movsar Evloev taking on Aaron Pico. So at the time I'm recording this, the fight isn't public. I wanted to get ahead of this because I did find out that this was going to be happening. You got to feel for Movsar Evloev here. What a silly fight this is. And it's like the title says, absolutely brutal. It's brutal for Evloev. He is fighting a newcomer when he should be fighting the champion, Alex Volkanovski. So this makes me think, because of this matchmaking and with Diego Lopez and John Silva booked, they're going to be doing Yair Rodriguez and Alex Volkanovski. Why? We just saw that fight not that long ago, and Volk dominated him. I don't get that thinking at all. Now, they must really not like Evloev, or I don't know what the deal is. I know he doesn't finish fights, but guys, there are fighters that are more boring than Movsar Evloev. He's not a boring fighter. I thought that last fight with Aljamain Sterling was a very good fight. It didn't end up in a finish, but still. And the thing that I have, and I did a video on this already. You remember when there was rumors about this fight already potentially being in the works? I did a video on this already, and I'll repeat the same talking point. Like, Aaron Pico didn't even win a title in Bellator. He wasn't even a title challenger. I know he was supposed to fight for the title towards the end of his tenure in PFL and Bellator, but still, he hadn't accomplished much in Bellator. And people talk about him being this big threat. Listen, I think Pico's a nice adjustment to the weight class, but name me his best win. His best win is probably, I don't know, Leandro Higo back in 2018 is probably his best win. You know, he was knocked out by Zach Freeman in his debut. He was not used well by Bellator. There was some bad matchmaking there. Of course, Pico made his pro debut with Bellator back on their big New York card. I was at that event. I remember him fighting Zach Freeman and going, I don't know about this. Zach Freeman's got way more fights than Aaron Pico does. And then, you know, things were going in the right direction. And then he had back-to-back knockout losses to Henry Corrales and Adam Borax. He had the shoulder injury against Jeremy Kennedy. But this isn't even like a Michael Chandler or Eddie Alvarez situation where they won a belt and they're coming over and they're getting like a #1 contenders fight. Like, this is like someone who didn't do any of that, and it really seems to me like they want Aaron Pico to win this fight, and in hopes that he can catch Evloev and knock him out, because I don't understand what's going on here. Like, he 100% should be fighting Volk. Volk himself said after his last fight that he'd be down for fighting him. He's undefeated. He has a win over Diego Lopez, the same fighter who fought Volk in his last fight. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it does make sense, but it's also just baffling that the UFC is, I mean, he's the new Magomed Ankalaev, right? Or Bilal Muhammad. Takes forever to get a title shot. So, yeah, and then the other part of this, and I'll bring it up because no one else will, but, you know, he switched management groups. He was with a great manager before in Ruby Sports. Now he's with a different manager. You know who that is. The same manager who also reps this guy. So he's going to be getting 20% on this fight. Like, are you helping the UFC or are you helping out your fighter here? I don't know, but this just is crazy to me that we're not seeing a Movsar Evloev and Alex Volkanovski fight. Anyways, as far as the pick goes, I'm going with Movsar Evloev. I know Pico's got great wrestling. That's what he came from. That was what all the hype came from when he signed with Bellator. This is a guy that has achieved a lot of accolades in wrestling on the collegiate level and all that. Actually, I don't know if it was collegiate, but it was either way. He's a standout wrestler. But, you know, this is MMA. Going from Henry Corrales to Movsar Evloev is like, you know, a last place team, you know, going to the finals or something. Like, that's basically, like, nothing against Henry Corrales. I like Henry a lot, really good dude here, but Henry is he was 38 years old and 37 years old, and he was a plus 360 underdog, and now you're fighting Movsar. But like, Evloev might be like he could be like a 400, minus 500 favorite in the spot, I think, unless they're gonna just not look at the level of opposition he's fighting. But you look at these wins too, like Lopez aged well, and that was short notice. Arnold Allen, I know some people felt like Allen might have won, but Allen's still a contender in the weight class. Aljamain Sterling, good win as well. So yeah, I'm going Movsar Evloev decision. I believe this is a 3-round fight. But yeah, I mean, good for Abu Dhabi. They get two, you know, good names here, but I just like, I feel for Evloev here. I mean, to me, this is almost, I mean, I think this is almost worse than what happened to Ankalaev. At least Ankalaev fought Rakic, who was like, you know, a top 5 fighter. I think he was top 5 at the time. Aaron Pico hasn't even fought in the UFC yet. And I'm not, listen, like, I think there's a lot of potential with Pico, and obviously the UFC sees that. That's why they're making this fight. But I just, like, to me, Pico's in the same position that Michael Venom Page is when he came over from Bellator to the UFC. Granted, Venom Page is a lot older, but he fought, like, who did he fight in his debut? Kevin Holland. That makes sense. Like, Pico should be fighting like a, you know, Calvin Kattar or Giga Chikadze or someone like that in his debut. He shouldn't be fighting Movsar Evloev. So, but again, this is a business. The UFC, you know, I don't say it's Dana White privilege. I say it's best for business privilege. The The UFC thinks it's best for business if Pico wins this fight, and I think they're banking on him hopefully knocking out Movsar Evloev, but easier said than done. This guy is one of the most talented. He might be the best featherweight in the world. We don't know because he hasn't fought Volk yet, so we'll have to find out. But yeah, I'm going Evloev all day in this fight, and again, I feel bad for him. I do. Like, I think he thought if he switched managers, things would get better. I think things have gotten worse. I think since then, he fought in December against Sterling after fighting in January, although he's supposed to fight Sterling in October, but that took a while. And then now he's fighting here in July after fighting in December against a guy he shouldn't be fighting against, right? You know, and Pico could surprise her. Maybe he will turn things around in the UFC, but as far as how he did in Bellator, it didn't pan out. He lost 4 times. All of those losses were finishes. Granted, one of them was a shoulder injury, but still not a lot of great opposition here. And yeah, he finished these guys, but none of these guys would be even top 15 in the UFC as far as the featherweight division goes. So I don't know. It's a big jump there for Pico. We'll see how he does. So yeah, you guys let me know in the comments what you think of this fight. I know a lot of people are going to be saying it should be Movsar and Volk, so I think we're all in agreement there. But how do you think the fight goes? Is anyone picking Pico here? Again, he's got a puncher's chance. I think he can do it. I just think this is a huge step up. I'm not saying Pico can't win. Of course, anyone can win a fight, but I just think this is a huge step up for Pico, especially with the fact that when was that Corrales fight? Let me just quickly look there. That Corrales fight was in February of 2024. He isn't even fight. He's coming off a huge layoff into this fight too. So again, another reason to like Evloev here. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram @LynchOnSports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.